Well, Renny, how are you, my man?
I'm great. How are you, Jeff?
I'm awesome. Have to say, it's not every day you get to speak to someone whose movies you've had on VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray.
Haha. Excellent. Thank you.
So congratulations on your upcoming movie, The Bricklayer, starring Aaron Eckhart. First of all, what attracted you to the script of this movie?
Well, it was, as any, I think, filmmaker who's done action films, it was my dream to find my spy movie one day. And when I read this script, I felt like this was my chance to do my, version of a kind of a James Bond movie, but more rooted in reality. But that type of a spy thriller, which anybody who loves movies has grown up with those movies since the 1940s, since Hitchcock movies, going into the 70s and 80s and so on. So I've been kind of waiting for that opportunity, and I felt like this one really offered me something that was rooted in reality, yet offered a really nice canvas to do some cool stuff with.
And then going back on like action classics that like fans can relate to, like Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2. So if you go from them sort of movies to The Bricklayer, how has the whole action industry changed? Would you have sort of less money, less days?
I got I just got an attack by B, but of course, the world has changed a lot, and the film industry has changed drastically. But I've always had the approach to action and violence that I like it to feel real, even if these movies are outlandish to a certain degree. But I like to show cause and effect. I like to show that the hero is not untouchable. They bleed and sweat and get hurt like you and I, and and that to me hasn't changed. Also with this movie, I wanted to go against what happens now in Hollywood with all the superhero movies, is that actors and stuntmen are being replaced by digidoubles, and cars in car chases are digital cars, and you sometimes get this kind of a weightless feeling, like things defy gravity in these movies, and 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 they lose credibility for me, and then I feel like once you lose the credibility, then all you have left is like bigger and bigger CG effects to entertain the audience, because the audience doesn't really feel what you're doing anymore. So I wanted to really go back to 70s or 80s or early 90s with the Bricklayer, and not use any digital effects, and do all the fights, all the car chases, everything, do it on camera, do it for real, and feel that kind of nostalgia in this film, and it's a kind of film that I wanted to see, and I feel like I haven't seen in a while, and I felt like if I wanted to see it, maybe the audience wants to see something like that too.
That's when you hit the nail on the head there when you were like, you don't want your character to be untouchable. Because if there's something that you do well, is you put Aaron Eckhart through the ringer. He gets beaten in every turn, but keeps coming back. A highlight I have to say, without giving away any spoilers, was the warehouse sequence. That was unreal. What was it like shooting that? Did you get much time to sort of put that scene together?
Yes, I had the good fortune of spending several weeks before the shooting with my stunt team and choreographing all the action scenes, and we had Aaron there, and Aaron was really dedicated in doing all his fighting himself. So if you look at the movie, you see there's never a stunt guy replacing him. It's all Aaron, and and also during that preparation time, we found pretty much all our locations. So, for example, that warehouse sequence, like it was just a warehouse in the script, but then we found this in Thessaloniki in Greece. We found this old train warehouse, and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, oh my God, if we can put this action sequence there, it'll really be something visually unique. And that really uh you hit it on the head when you mentioned that sequence, because it is one of my favorite sequences in the movie. I love the way we lit it with this sodium vapor kind of orange light, warm light, and the labyrinth nature of the trains there, and how the action works in and out of the trains. Uh, we even had the one car was from the original Orient Express that we used in the story. So it was very carefully planned, and we shot it actually quite fast. I would say that the whole warehouse sequence took only 3 days to shoot, because it was all rehearsed, and we knew exactly what we wanted to do. Actually, we had to cut it down. The sequence is almost half, like almost 50% longer, but it just went on too long that we felt like we had to trim it a little bit. But maybe we'll get a director's cut one day, and people can see the whole sequence.
Yeah, I have to say there's nothing wrong with a long action sequence,
I know, you and me.
especially when you're at the helm. You always get the action on point. There's none of that shaky cam. You get us to see all the good bits. Anything that needs to be seen, you always
Thank
let
you.
us see it.
Thank you, Jeff, for saying that, because I I don't want to like criticize other filmmakers, but I feel like in some of the modern cinema, it's like the shooting is so tight and the cutting is so fast, and with the shaking camera and all that sometimes I can't even tell what's going on, and it's almost like the sound is telling me more about what's happening than the visuals. And I like to really choreograph things so that the audience understands the geography of what who is where, and what is the relationship and distance, and whether it's a shootout or a fist fight, uh and and uh and do the fight so well that I don't have to be close and just cut to some stuff happening, but I can really show what they are doing in the scene. That's my goal, and I'm glad if you feel like it's working.
Yeah, definitely, because you do showcase like the combat scenes. For instance, do you remember the scene in the club? You showcase the hand-to-hand stuff there perfectly, and then you showcase sort of the shootout bits perfectly in the warehouse, and then throughout you've just got car chases scattered throughout as well, and everything is just like you're just giving everyone that taste of basically old school action at its finest.
Thank you. Thank you. That's music to my ears. That's what I was trying to do.
But you succeeded in every way, Renny, definitely. Was this a project as well? Was it a one and done for you, or could you see yourself taking a second round with the Bricklayer?
Oh, that's my dream, and I know that Aaron and Nina both feel the same way. Aaron would love to continue this character. He loves it. Uh Sometimes you manage to create that kind of characters that could have a longer life. Like, one thing like about The Long Kiss Goodnight is that Sam Jackson still thinks that Mitch Hennessy is his favorite character he's ever played, and he's always talking about it. Like, can we do a sequel? I want to continue the story of Mitch Hennessy, and Aaron feels same way about Vale, and uh I would definitely, but it's all up to the audience, and how popular the movie is, and how many people want to see it, and what they think about it. But I would love to tell. I have a story idea already in my mind. I'd love to tell another story of the Bricklayer.
And I would love to see another story too. It would be awesome. The locations as well. What locations did it shoot? Were you actually like in Greece, and then were you actually like in Philadelphia? We Because all the locations look very authentic. You know the way movies now, they could be anywhere, but they're just on a green screen.
Yeah. Well, that's great, because we didn't have the money to go shoot in various locations, so the entire movie was shot in Thessaloniki in Greece, and we just faked it. And if it works, that's great.
It works.
We try to find various locations that would double and stand in for America, and uh, it's a fun challenge. I like doing that. Nowadays, nobody shoots movies in Los Angeles. Movies are shot all over the world, and that's part of the trickery is figuring out how to make it feel real without really going there.
Well, it's been awesome chatting with you, Renny. The Bricklayer I thought was an unbelievable action thriller, and I think everyone should definitely support the movie. And if you do, we can get a sequel. Before we wrap, though, I've got one more quick question to ask you. Um, so everyone knows that you're a brilliant action director, but you also dabble in horror, and you have the Strangers trilogy, which I think the first one's due out this year. Um, Everyone wants to know: is this three separate stories, or is it one story that continues throughout the three films?
Thank you for asking. Yes, we shot three movies together. It's three chapters of the same story, and we wanted to honor the original, The Strangers, which I love that movie, and we ignored that there's been any sequels after that, and we wanted to tell the story of basically Liv Tyler's character, which is now played by Madeline Petch, and the first movie is really uh, to a certain extent, it's a remake of the original movie. I felt like the fans would want to see that, and then embark on a journey with Madeline, who survives barely the home invasion of the first movie, and then we follow her in the second and third movie. We follow her journey. What happens to a young woman who, ordinary woman, faces extraordinary circumstances and has to survive? What happens to her in after that? And also, my goal was to answer a lot of the questions that the fans have had after the first original movie. Uh, who are the strangers? Where did they come from? Why? Why did they choose these people? Uh, we are answering a lot of those questions in the course of the second and third movie, and 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 also creating a whole set of new questions. So I hope that there's going to be many more of these movies after these three. But what's really unique about these three is that it's not like a sequel where you just follow the villains and go to another environment, another world, other victims. Now you follow the victim of the first movie and all the three movies happen basically in the course of 5 days. So it's a continuous story, broken into three chapters, and I think the fans of the original movie will have a lot of fun with it.
I look forward to it, and I can't wait to review it. And action fans and horror fans, you just know you're in safe hands with Renny at the helm.
Jeff, thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words.
And thank you so much for your time, Renny. I really appreciate it, man. And it's been an honor speaking with you. It's one off the bucket list.
Thank you. You
Thank
take
you.
care.
Take
Bye
care,
bye.
Renny. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.